Hey guys, Liam here from Primal Nomad, hope you're doing well. Back in the Nissan Navara today, actually just going to be doing a few kind of little upgrades. Not really upgrades, just repairs I guess. I've been having a little bit of problems with my boost or my turbo, so it's been fluctuating a little bit. Obviously it's about a 10-year-old car now, done about 72,000 miles. So yeah, good age, and it's running well in the main part, but just going to replace the boost solenoid now. So that is a tiny little valve that allows you to, or allows the actuator and the vacuum to be correct. So that's this little thing here, and this is a Nissan Denso one. It basically controls the vacuum going to the turbo. I was thinking about replacing that with a Tilix or a doors valve to manually be able to control the PSI on the boost, but just at this point, this was managed to get this off of someone whose car unfortunately got written off, and this was brand new. So I managed to get this for a really good price, and it's brand new. So I thought I'll replace it with this electronic one, and then probably in a few months replace it with a manual one and keep this as a spare. Hopefully that should sort the issue. The other thing that I do have is this, which is a brand new cold intake pipe. So that goes straight from the airbox. This is where the MAF sensor goes, straight onto the airbox, and this goes straight down into the turbo. So this is a nice silicone one, all heat resistant, and I did buy some new Jubilee clips to fit, so I'll put the measurements down in the description below. So really just a few little things today, minor little improvements. And yeah, hopefully that should sort a few things out. So I'll just probably set the tripod on the engine and just let you guys watch while I do that. The boost control solenoid is actually located at the bottom of the airbox. So it's just important that you remember what hose line goes to where. So there'll be a vacuum out, and then there'll be another hose. I've actually replaced all of them lines with silicone hose as well. Previously, unfortunately I didn't get any footage of that, silly me, but still, you'll see that when I'm doing it for sure. Alright, so just going to start by undoing the Jubilee clip here. That should allow that to come off nicely. There'll be another one down here on the turbo side, and you could reuse these Jubilee clips. But if I remember correctly, these ones are fed onto this. They have a little hole on the back of the Jubilee clip with a little rubber prong sticking through. So this is one line, vacuum line, from the boost control solenoid, which is down here. So this is the furthest right. The plug is here, so I'll show you this quickly. In fact, I'll just take these off of here. I'll tuck this down. So this line, if you keep it in order, so we have three vacuum lines here. We've got one which is the vacuum. This is the vacuum out that goes to the actuator, and this is another vacuum line that goes straight into this cold air intake. As I said before, I've replaced all these with silicone hosing, and that was a 4mm silicone hose. So I'm just going to take that out of the cold intake, and I'm going to keep them in order here, so from right to left, knowing that the one with the little feed is on the furthest to the right. So I'm actually going to be replacing this clip because I hate the design. They're the worst thing in the world to take off or put on. I'm sure there definitely is a correct tool to use for them, but no, I'm going to replace it with the Jubilee clip. So now I've got this detached, I can just pull this to the side and tuck that down here. And you can see how this just feeds in here, and this is just to seat it. It's actually solid in there, doesn't have a hole. Tuck that out of the way, or try to rather, and then disconnect this pipe. I'm just going to get a rag and just cover that now quickly. Now you can see here I'm just wiping the outside, not the inside, and I'm keeping a bag covering over this entrance. I'm just wiping the outside so that the new pipe doesn't slip around. And this is where that crankcase breather floods the turbo system in this with oil. It's with a silly thing, so I will be adding a catch can onto this. I'm just covering that so nothing falls in. So down here you can see the boost control solenoid is just there. And there are the 3 lines I was telling you about and the plug. So you've got back in, back out, and that's the one that goes straight to the cold intake that I'm going to be replacing. So I'm going to whip that off now and replace that unit while it's easily accessible. And it's just the rubber mount here just clips onto this little clip down here, so it just feeds through the little slit at the end. Right, and to get this off, there's a little tab here that you just put a little screwdriver on. It pulls up a little metal pin like that. Take that clip out, put that somewhere safe, and slide your connector off. Then you can bring your valve up a bit closer and with it in your hand replace it straight away. So you can see here I now have my new boost control solenoid, and it's orientated this way. So holding this in my hand, I'm gonna like for like take the pipes off straight on, just to ensure that they go on the right way and they are in the right place. Sometimes you might just need to use your nail to start sliding it up. So that goes on there, that goes on there. We can put this old one out of the way now. And that old one still was working, it wasn't throwing up a fault code, it was just the actuator was dropping slightly, so I thought, well, let's process of elimination, and as I said, it is an old solenoid, so this can then go onto here and clip on. You can see here actually this clip's been a bit broken in the past, just realised, but not to worry. This metal clip here keeps a lot of tension on it, so I'm going to push that on. Now, that isn't able to come out regardless of that bit being broken. And then this again just gets fed down onto here. It can be a little bit awkward getting it on or off. You just kind of feed it through the rubber. And there we are. Now that's mounted in place. Just make sure them back lines nicely pushed down and they're still in the right order. So this is the old boost control solenoid, and this is the little slit in the rubber that I was telling you about down here at the bottom. And that feeds onto the clip. In fact, it's this way around. But there's a little mounting plate, and you'll see when you take it off, and that fits onto there. So what I've got here is I have my new pipe to go between here and here, and obviously this feeds into here, or it should. Should eventually be quite a tight fit, and that goes right to there. Perfect. My hose line, you can just see here, just popped out because I was manhandling. That goes just straight onto the actuator here. Just again, make sure it hasn't pulled out of your boost control solenoid. So now I know that fits in, I can take that out, and again just push that to one side. Always fiddly job in here, all these springy hoses. So there we are, so that's out of the way. I'll move this bag now. So what I'm going to do is going to make it easy for myself. I'm going to put the Jubilee clip this way around. So I'm going to make sure that's nicely on this end. And in fact, what I might do is just loosen this air box here, move it down to the side, and I'm just going to put the air filter back on top. Ensure that nothing gets in there. And that just allows me to work in here and work this all the way down to the bottom. Give that a good turn there to where it should sit. So now I've got that nicely in place. I'll bring the airbox around. And I'm just going to make sure that's in the right place, which it is. Again, put on the Jubilee clip in a place that's going to be easy to get. Like that, I would imagine. Put the air filter back in, so I'm not juggling with that anymore. Get this end fitted. This will always be a bit of a job. So you can see here a little bit of a size difference. Needed a tiny bit of adjustment. So there's actually a tiny bit of plastic just here on the side of the MAF filter, and on the side of the MAF sensor, that's just pushing up against this silicone here. So what I might do is quickly just chop that off this air pipe, just to allow that to sit nicely. But other than that, sitting well in there, sealed around, all the way around. You see how there's just on the side here, this is the MAF sensor and this is the pipe. There's just a tiny bit of plastic pushing in, which is causing that to bulge up there. And then that's just a tiny little bit of plastic, so if I cut that off of this bit of the pipe, then that will sit flush up to it. Really good at the moment. Happy with how it's sat on there. Straight down to the turbo there. Up to the airbox, and obviously this is the Forefront Industry hard pipe. I've put on some new hose clamps here, and these are actually exhaust clamps was lifting a little bit at this end, so I'd recommend that. There's about 67mm. We've also got silicone hosing over here, albeit it's a bit dirty. This was made by MK Performance Hosing, which is a local company.
Just give it a good turn so everything sits in nicely. Everything's flush down here and there's no gaps, which is what we like to see. That has pushed nicely down to the point on the turbo that it's meant to meet at. I just have to trim a tiny bit off because it was touching the crankcase breather there, so the end does look a little bit untidy, but I singed off all the fibres and did it with a fine saw, so it's not rough, it's just on a bit of a slant, but meets up well all the way around there. You can see just how oily it is around that crankcase breather. I'm just trying to make sure that's on nice and tight. And that isn't coming off. So now we can reconnect this, just make sure there's no blockages. And this can go straight into your vent here, or your slot there. This can get pushed straight onto there. In fact, now you can see that this crosses over nicely there and allows that to be clipped onto there, or you could leave it back. The thing that's stopping me is I've got this protective heat shrink on it with this heat wrap. So as a matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll just take this off. I'll take this heat wrap off and I'll put it on the other way around, so we've got the longer section down at the bottom with a steeper curve. So that can go down to here, where it's nearer the turbo and the hot pipes. Then I'll put this section on. And then that can lead directly onto this. I'll put it on this side so it has a bit of a better route. The other thing I will do is double check the placement once more on this, make sure it doesn't want to move anywhere, make sure it's not lifting the airbox up in any places, and then I will tighten this one up. So now I've got this all in place. Of course I realised that I hadn't put the clip on there, which isn't too much of a problem, just take it off. Really, this is under vacuum, so the clips are only there precautionary. It's precautionary, really. Right, so now that's all tightened up. Just again check all my lines to the boost solenoids, make sure they're all running okay. Or rather not running okay, but make sure that they are all plugged in correctly. Just decided that I'm actually gonna just use this heat shield. Probably not use this heat shield. I probably won't have it connected to that bit there. We'll just have that running. In fact, I'll use it here, where it's going to be near this hot pipe. So great. Well, that's that. All connected now. It's my new boost control solenoid in. Everything hose clamped up nice and tightly. So now I'll give the engine a bit of a run just to make sure it's all driving properly. And I'll turn on the OBD2 and check there's no fault codes. So there we have it, guys. That's how to fit a new boost control solenoid and cold intake pipe to the Nissan Navara. As far as I can see through the OBD2 scanner, there's no fault codes being thrown, so it looks like everything's fine. The turbo actuator is, being held up by the vacuum and, moving correctly. So thanks for watching, and if you want me to cover anything else, feel free to drop a comment in the comments below. And yeah, thanks ever so much for watching. Take care.